Good evening. It is Monday, March 10th at 5 p.m. We will now call to order the Public Safety Committee meeting for the Village of Somerset. Present at the hall today, myself, Chris Duback.
Chris Mario.
And it looks like Ryan is absent. So why don't we go ahead and review the Public Safety Committee meeting minutes for February 10th.
I didn't see any changes. I'd make a motion to receive, or is that what you do?
Approve.
Receive, approve the minutes.
That's all right.
No.
Good. So we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? None. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on to, is there any public comment online? 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic on agenda items. There's no one in the hall today. So I'll go ahead and close public comment. We have no unfinished business or new business, so we're going to skip down to the municipal court budget report. This time of year it looks pretty normal. Training, a little bit of expenses, nothing unusual.
Yeah.
Move on then to the police department. And we take a look at the 2025 budget report. Right on budget, between 12 and 13%.
Yep. Good.
We'll go ahead and move on then. Chief, are you ready to give your report?
Yes. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe we'll start first with the calls for service, and then I did include that graph this month just to kind of show a year over year. Again, like I don't think that's necessarily kind of reflective of time spent per se on calls. For example, last month I'd say was fairly busy, but it doesn't reflect that in the overall numbers. But I'm trying to figure out a better way to kind of highlight that. I had prepared some numbers that I don't have in front of me right now. Lieutenant Farrell and I are on our way home from a joint training that we went to with the fire department with Travis Belisle and the assistant chief, Jason Karate, which is a rescue task force training. But yeah, I think last month we did make 8 arrests, and I was trying to think how many citations we wrote, but I think that might be another thing that I can include with like an overall kind of totals.
Great. Terrific. So the call for service report shows 136 calls.
Yeah.
You also provided this nice chart for calls for service over time. So when I see that ranges from 125 calls to approximately 250 throughout the past year. So that was really pretty interesting to see that there's some fluctuations, but really we're steady all year long.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's kind of a misnomer to say that we're busy in the summer and quiet in the winter. That's just simply not true.
It's a great representation, a visual representation for us. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, and then if we want to move on to the kind of the chief report, I don't have a whole lot prepared. I can just kind of highlight some of the trainings that we did last month.
Great.
So last month our SRO, Jared Kerber, and Lieutenant Farrell went down to an active threat response training. It's an integrated response training, which kind of includes police, fire, EMS, and the school district. It's a conference that was held in the Dells, and we had some admin from the school district go down with them, and they have since had meetings, and they've taken a lot of good things away from that we can kind of start working on and implementing just from a preparedness perspective. I ended up going down to the Chiefs conference. That was also in the Dells. I went with all the chiefs from St. Clair County, minus one. But that was a good training with a lot of nice, good speakers and good takeaways. I'm trying to think. I had one more I wanted to highlight. Oh yeah, and then SRO Officer Kerber and I went to a training in Woodbury. It's kind of again, another one geared towards active threats and active violence. It was held at a Woodbury Middle School, and again, at practice, this kind of like co-response with police, fire, and EMS, forming rescue task forces, and really focusing on kind of after that initial threat is eliminated, kind of how do we progress from there, and how do we stop the dying and get people off the X and get them to help sooner. So all very good things that I think we can start incorporating with our police, fire, and EMS locally. And I do see it as something that we can kind of mirror and maybe get a countywide program going as well, which is one of my goals.
Wonderful. Yeah, that sounds like a really important training.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess on a side note, you know, the last 2 months we kind of had that vaping ordinance on the agenda. That's something that we're still working through. I think there's a lot more to it in terms of like if there's things that are going to be changed in one part of the ordinance, it might need to be changed in another, and then in another, specifically like zoning and enforcement. Something that we're still working. I'm working with you with Chris, and then we're also kind of in collaboration with Hudson to kind of see lessons learned from their ordinance and kind of making sure that we're putting something that's complete and accurate and enforceable forward before we jump in with 2 feet.
I appreciate the help there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you can think of?
No, unless you guys have any questions you want me to answer.
Not off the top of my head. I think everything's really clear.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and move on to the police and court votes? Really short on standard. Trainings, memberships, telephones. Perfect. Any future agenda items we need to place on the agenda yet? There's nothing that I can think of that would be ready for the next meeting, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Perfect. Then we are, any questions, comments? No. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And goodness, we are adjourned at 5:09 p.m.